All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Good morning, Nora. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing great. The VIX is traded below 35. Well, not traded, but went below 35 this morning. I'm super
Okay. Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Gonna be
Yeah.
able to shave soon.
No. This is exciting news, man. Yeah, the markets are exciting, man. Can't wait to see how this week is going to end. And we'll get into that in the market pulse. Guys, if you're joining us for the first time, here's our rundown. We go to the market pulse, so Norm will
All
take us
right.
through
Good morning, everyone.
what the
Welcome to the
SPY is
pre-market
doing
show.
and
Hope
some of the
everyone's
things
having an
happening there with in regards to major news. Then we'll get into looking at our gappers list gapping up and down. Right now, our gappers up list looks a little bit long here. A lot of stuff in the green. You got some other ones in the red here. And I'm sure, Norm, you're going to talk about Zoom, so I'll leave that for you because what happened there over
Oh yeah,
the weekend is just incredible.
on
So
Friday was nuts.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get into that. Once we do that, community announcements, and then we'll jump into some support and resistance levels of the stocks that we have here. So, guys, let's get
No,
to it.
you're leaving out Dr. Katz in the middle of that.
Yes, I am. So,
We got a first time new segment part of the show. Our in-house psychologist, Dr. Jonathan Katz, will be joining us right around 9 o'clock Eastern to kind of get us ready for the week in our new segment, Mindful Monday.
excellent. So let's get into it, guys. Go over the market pulse, and then we'll come back and start seeing what we have in this gappers list today.
Yeah, so and it doesn't show it there because that's the ETF and not the actual VIX. But if the actual VIX is below 35 this morning, we use VXX or TVIX to watch the moves on it usually because VXX generally trades correctly, TVIX out of whack a little bit sometimes, but the VIX is delayed on a lot of platforms because of the cost of it these days. So anyway, it's down this morning. Market's gapping up a little bit. Not too substantial of a gap, 1.1%. So decent, but not crazy. Um, not a ton, no real economic data coming out today. Tomorrow we've got home sales index, consumer confidence, and then the Fed's meeting this week. They'll have their announcement on the overnight rate and such. Their statement should be really interesting, what comes out of here. And then Jerome Powell's press conference at 2:30, which surely we'll be watching because, as I've said many times before, he just has his way with the markets, meaning being able to spike them pretty hard sometimes. So spike down like you know, anyway. So that's where we are. Should be an interesting week. We're hovering right between those levels at 280ish and 293 that we hovered around through so often, so many times, bouncing back and forth last spring and summer. So
Yep, yeah, we can see that. We see it in the weekly here. You can clearly see how important that level is. Even when we have the first spike here, it's just kind of just again a lot of action around this level. So it will be interesting to see what we do here. How about the recovery so far, Norm? I mean, I knew we were going to bounce back eventually, but
absolutely amazing.
not this fast and not this aggressive here. So
There-
we'll definitely
Yeah,
see.
I mean that looks like if that was a daily chart for a breakup of Apple or Nvidia or anything else, I'd be watching that for a massive spike.
Right, right.
So yeah, it's very interesting. This recovery's been quick. A lot of people have doubted it. A lot of people have been talking about and going back to the lows or falling well below the lows, and this is just the beginning. Very well, maybe. I'm not trying to make a prediction. I trade the way price moves. I don't try to predict it. I don't have a crystal ball. But I will say the one difference here is the massive, massive, massive amount of uh, weight the federal government, the Federal Reserve has put behind this, just trillions of dollars into different industries to individuals and everything else. It's unprecedented. So it's hard to predict what will happen.
Yep, fully agree 100%. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's see what we have here on our list. Let's start with what's gapping down this morning. I'm going to jump right into Zoom, guys, so we can kind of discuss what is the deal with this. So at the moment, let's go back into what
Hey,
happened on
Carlos,
Friday. Yep,
YouTube is saying your volume's real low.
yep. All right, I'll check that. 1 second, guys.
Sound normal in the chat room, and I don't know about me. I think I sound normal on
No,
YouTube, but
you sound perfectly fine. I was just make sure here. Yep. Oh, volumes are good, guys. I increased the gain just a little bit more, just in case. But hopefully that will help through YouTube. So here, guys, on Friday, here's what happened after hours. I was after hours. No, actually, no. In the
no, it was in the middle of the
in the
day.
middle of the day. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, what happened here?
Well, what was amazing to me, and I sent you guys a picture of this, is I traded this breakup, and I traded this. I was in around 176, 176.30-ish off the top of my head was my entry, right after the open, and partialed out, and my last partial was over 180, 150-ish. I felt like I mean, like I got close to the top of that. Luck. I'm not saying, it could have very well kept going. Every once in a while, you get lucky and top tick something. It was no, it was nothing special there. But then it started to fall off, and then I left the house for a few hours. I came back later in the day around 2 o'clock, and I look and Zoom is 30 points almost below, 25 points below what it had been trading at earlier in the day. And sure enough, Facebook came out with an announcement that they're launching a video chat. I believe it's up to 50 people can talk at a time. So
Wow.
now this is another company, as we discussed. AT&T bought a company called Blue Jeans for video teleconferencing recently, which kind of hurt Zoom, and then they came back up. So just one thing after another coming after this company that's been flying.
Yeah, yeah. So again, definitely on our list today, guys. Right now, 349,000 shares traded. Let's remove what we have over here. So 3,049,000 traded on Zoom. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. Very active pre-market right now. And again, it's just going to be interesting to see what it does today after such a big drop yesterday. So we'll keep Zoom on here. Next, let's go over to GM. So GM is also down this morning. They are down 2.7. I'm sorry, they were down 2, but it just disappeared. So they're down 2. But GM, again, look at this pre-market, guys. It doesn't have much volume, very choppy at the moment. I'm not seeing anything all that great from it, so we're just going to skip on GM right now, unless there are any significant news that we should be looking at. But overall, guys, I'm not seeing anything great on here. It looks very choppy. Also, this
They're
is,
sus-
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
they're suspending their dividend, is what I heard this morning. But GM doesn't trade very well, so I didn't spend much time messing with it.
Yeah, yep. All right, so we'll skip on that one. Let's look at how it just popped up here on top of Zoom. Let's see what's going on there. Again, not much happening right now. We definitely seen a lot more volume out of this and a better pre-market activity. So we're dropping down, just hitting that under 2%, and then kind of getting 248,000. But overall, I'm not liking the pre-market activity on how at the moment. So we'll skip on that one. Let's look at CLVS. CLVS at the moment, crappy pre-market activity. You can see the chop here at the moment. It's just starting to get going though. 130,000 shares traded. They had a pop over the last couple of days, kind of held between 9 and 980, and now we're dropping down here 4.7. So this could be a good one. We have traded this one before in the past, guys. So this is a former player for us that we have taken some action on. So we'll keep an eye on it, see if it can get any better. Here's Oxy, another oil stock at the moment. Now they got a better pre-market activity here compared to how, right? They got a little bit more volume, as you can see here, 435, and they're down 4.3. So worth keeping an eye on it. We'll see how that develops later today. APA is another one that doesn't kind of trade all that well neither. So I'm going to skip on this one. I think Oxy is usually the best one out of all of these. Sometimes How can give you some good opportunities, but overall, we're going to keep Oxy for now. Meso, how about Meso last week, guys? I mean, this is the stock that I guarantee you some people had a very tough time. I'm not saying they blew up their account, but this is a stock that you want to be very cautious with. This was a low flow stock, I believe, trading at actually it's not a low flow. No, it's 85 million shares flow, but it was trading like a low flow. I'm surprised at that float there. But you can see yesterday, incredible pop all the way from 15. This is just after the open, right? Before the open, it went from 9 all the way up to pre-market high 15, 16. Then from 15, 16 all the way up to 21. And then this is when it started getting scary, just gapping down hard here and halting towards the bottom. So again, just be very careful with these type of stocks, guys. When you see this type of incredible movement at the open, where they're up 150, 60%, you want to be very cautious in trading these. So again, they're active right now, 243,000 shares traded. They are down 9.5 at the moment. Not a great pre-market activity. Again, possible continuation here towards the downside. We'll have to see how this one develops. I'm going to throw it down here as a possible on the risky stock. So we'll check out a little bit later how that pre-market looks. Let's look at CHK. Then we'll jump into what's gapping up this morning. CHK at the moment has a decent pre-market activity. Traded well on Friday. On Friday, I saw a lot of you guys take this opportunity here on CHK. So a lot of people were watching this one. We could take a look at it today. Might not make our final list. It's got to give us something better than what it's giving us right now in the pre-market. The volume is barely cracking above 115,000. We are down 12.7, so that's a nice big drop here. We'll keep an eye on this one. All right, we got plenty of stuff, guys, in our gapping up list. We're not going to go through all of them. Let's go through the first top five or so, and then we'll skip down to see what Norm has and what you guys have in your on your end of the chat room. So AXSM, at the moment, this one it is up 46%, 484,000 shares traded right now. What is the float on this one? 25 million shares flow. So it's barely getting over that 20 million shares flow that we like to see. But as you can tell, guys, this is a very dangerous stock. The spread right now, about 25 cents, and you can see the range going from 105 to 120 in a matter of minutes, right? So this is kind of similar to like a Meso, higher price, obviously. They got a very nice big pop this morning. Again, these type of stocks, guys, are out of my league. I don't trade them. They're just a little bit too risky for me. But they're active today, so we'll do some levels for them. We'll take a look at it, but I'm not sure if we're going to keep this one on our list. I'm going to actually put it down next to Meso because it is that type of stock where it is risky and you got to be very cautious. And it's just barely getting over that 25 million shares that we have there on the float. YTEN, let's take a look at that. There's nothing good on YTN, guys. We got some volume. We got this pop, but the pre-market's not looking all that great. Again, this is a 1.9 million shares flow, so it tells you how low this is. Again, we just don't want to be involved in anything looking like that. AVDL, what do we have here? This one, 382,000, 42% up this morning. The daily looks interesting. Their flow is 33.3. The pre-market, though, is not all that great right now. Hopefully it can get better. Right now it's looking a little bit choppy. As you can see here, it's got some good volume, but hopefully this can get better as we continue later in the morning. So let's put this one down here, YTEN.
They had positive phase 3 trial results on narcolepsy therapy.
Okay, all right, excellent. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. They got some news behind it, which definitely helps. Where we have here next, we have what do I had here? YETN. That's a 1 million. No, we got to bring this down here. YTEN. Let's bring this down over here. There we go. That's a low flow stock. All right, perfect. INO, guys. This one is up here now. This one. Man, this stock is just so difficult to trade. We traded it, when was it? Thursday. I didn't trade it Friday. I mean, look how clean it traded Friday. This stock is something else. But again, it's a very difficult stock to trade. Obviously, Friday traded very well, guys, after the open. Look how clean this pop was. And it just held on to its 9 moving average. I wasn't watching it Friday. It could just be a hit or miss. And now if you go back and you look at Thursday, right? Thursday was just insane chop. And again, if you look at this price action, it was just unreal on how difficult it was to trade this stock. So it's a hit or miss, but today their daily chart looks very exciting. They are up nicely, 3.3 million shares traded at the moment. And it looks like they're trying to test this 1603 level we had here from before. So let's keep an eye on it, guys. I mean, it could be something that can give us an opportunity. But it's one of those stocks that you got to be very careful with the number of shares. And if you get stopped out twice, you just want to give it some room, leave it alone, and come back to it in a few minutes, because it could be one of those stocks where it could just be extremely choppy for the first part of the morning and not recover after that. Just continue with that chop. Here's AMRN, and this one is coming back nicely, man. This thing hit $4 in the beginning of April. Now we're up at $8.10 here. Pre-market at the moment, a little bit choppy, but as you can see, it traded very well on Friday. Nice little run up here, doing nicely. And overall, 275,000 shares traded. So another one that could be a hit or miss as well. But this one, it's a little more forgiving than INO can be. So we'll definitely keep this one on here, take a look at it, at least do levels for it. We're getting into an interesting area, breaking out some of these levels on here. And we're getting close to this low that we had here from some time ago before we had this huge gap down in our daily. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, what else we have, guys? I'm going to do one more, DHT. This is not a good one, DHT. I don't like the way the pre-market is. Very choppy right now. I'm not seeing anything great on it, so we'll skip on this one and we'll go over to Norm. Norm, what do you have this morning that you like?
Got a couple. Facebook, obviously they had that news that I discussed about Zoom that came out on Friday. In addition to that, they have earnings, I believe, Wednesday after the close. So it should be in play this week. It's at an interesting level here, just below 200. Then I've also got Boeing, and ERJ. They had a joint venture or some kind of a business arrangement that Boeing pulled the plug on Friday. ERJ is looking to possibly sue them or get some money out
Mm.
of them for breaking up the deal. So those two names should be in play. I don't typically trade things below $5, so I'll probably be looking more to Boeing than the other. As of
Yeah.
right now, it's not super in play, but we'll see how that unfolds. It's got plenty of volume this morning, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're seeing some good volume out of BA, so definitely worth watching. ERJ again, yeah, it's a lower price, but it does look good here, leaving some of these levels that we had recently. So yeah, definitely put those on our list. All right, folks, let's get to the chat. See what you guys have this morning. Let's start with our chat room here. So Ash is giving us BYND. Let's take a look at that. See how that is trading today. Oh, BYND is nice. We got a beautiful pre-market activity this morning. Look at the test of this 111 level that we had here from probably last week. Just tested that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times here, or no, 4 times, excuse me, and then a nice pop here on BYND. So definitely worth watching. I do like the way that's looking this morning. Some really good volume here, and we are up 5.2. So thank you for that. That's a good one. Edwin
So
mRNA.
there's a couple of things on that. I didn't mention Beyond. I figured it. I thought maybe you had already spoken about it and I just
Oh,
missed it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so they got a downgrade out of UBS this morning for 73 to $73 as a price target and a sell rating from neutral. But also, wow, what's been pumping this recently after this dramatic fall that they had a while back is people worried about meat shortages, these constant stories of processing plants getting closed down because of COVID. So
Okay. Yeah, that I heard something that over the weekend as well. Again, I, I I don't understand it personally, but hey, all right, here we go. So we got a nice pop on BYND here. So let's definitely keep an eye on that one. mRNA, we have AMD, guys, our usual suspect here. AMD, let's get rid of some of these levels since we've been chopping around, creating some highs and lows here. AMD is looking good, guys. Again, possible breakout here above this 57.70. That is the pre-market high. You got some levels here at 59. So AMD could be a possible one. We can keep an eye on this one. Next, we have DKNG. DKNG at the moment. I'm not liking the pre-market on this one, guys. This is DraftKings. So again, that's just not liking the way the pre-market is setting up right
yeah,
now. It doesn't
it
look all that good.
it traded for the first time on Friday. And it
Okay.
wasn't an IPO technically. They had an acquisition corp set up, and I think it traded under DEAC for the year
Mm.
previous.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they rolled into that, it allowed them to technically go public and be traded on the public markets as such. So a little bit of a funky way to get around a traditional IPO that happens every once in a while. I had my eye on it on Friday just out of curiosity, and it just really wasn't very interesting.
Gotcha. All right. So again, we got to give this thing some time, guys, to settle down and kind of figure out how it's going to be trading. Right now, I'm not seeing anything great, and don't have much levels off this ticker right now at the moment. So we're gonna skip on that one for the most part. All right, mRNA, William, we have. Thank you, BAC. Let's take a look at this one. So BAC at the moment, we got 2.3, 421,000 shares traded. I'm not seeing anything all that great. I like the volume. The daily looks like it wants to break out, hopefully out of this 23 and head higher. I think the markets could help with that since the markets are slightly up this morning. But overall, I'm not seeing anything all that great on Bank of America right now. So we'll put it here as possible, and we'll come back to it. All right, let's see what we have over on our YouTube chat. Yeah, guys, I know my volume seems a little bit low, and we'll definitely check it to see what happened with the mic and see what's going on there. As far as stocks, what do you guys like this morning? Uber. Let's take a look at that. So Uber on the daily looks interesting. Possible breakout on it. I do see what you're looking at here. The pre-market right now is pretty crappy. Not seeing anything great, but I can see this great area here where we're breaking out of. Let's remove some of these levels, kind of get this chart a little bit cleaned up. There we go. So again, just kind of getting above that here. And Uber has been really fun to trade. It has some really good days out of Uber on this one. Beautiful comeback here,
Yeah.
guys, consolidating nicely. Norm, I know you took a long-term position. Are you still in that, or how's that going for you?
Oh yeah, I've just added to it on its way down.
Beautiful thing, beautiful
So
thing. So excellent here, coming back nicely, as you can see. So I do like Uber as well, guys. We'll keep an eye on it. And Uber is one of those stocks like Roku, which we'll look at next, where it might not have a great pre-market activity, but can be so explosive at the open and trade well. Let's take a look at Roku right now. Again, horrible pre-market, but Roku has been pretty nice to look at. Look at the daily here. We had several breakouts that were nice. Same situation right now, kind of consolidating in this area. But the pre-market is a little bit worse than what we've seen from it before. So we'll keep it on there, but it probably not going to make our final list. All right, guys, we're a little bit short on time in regards to because we have a new segment coming on today. So if you just joined us, we want you to stick around. Let's go over to announcements, and then we'll come back and do some more stuff here. One second, guys.
Yeah, guys. All right. So starting out every Monday, we talk about our weekly rundown. We're going to have our swing trade discussion with Brian at 2:30. That's kind of been an everyday thing since he's been quarantined, stuck at home. We've had more of its time, which has been awesome. He's been in the market close showing most days, the last half hour or so of the market, and then 15 minutes after the close, talking about earnings that come out and such. Also, we'll have our weekly Class 1 onboarding, 8 p.m. tonight. Eamon's trade reviews every Tuesday and Thursday in the classroom at noon. And our success webinar is at its regularly scheduled time for lifetime members, 8 p.m. Eastern. Talk more about that in a minute. This week, you surely do not want to miss. Got a couple of huge names in the trading community this Wednesday. And as I mentioned, our market close show is from 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern. It's Mike, Peter, Brian. They will be talking about what's going on in the market that day, what they're looking for maybe for the next morning, possibly any earnings that come out and such. And that is streamed on YouTube, so catch it out over there. It's also it's a simulcast of our chat room. So if you're in the chat room, you don't need to go there as well. But for those that aren't members, you can catch it on YouTube live stream. As I mentioned, we've got Dr. Brett Steenbarger and Mike Bellafiore, and it's going to be moderated by Andrew on Wednesday at 8 p.m. So keep a lookout for that. Just an awesome conversation. They're going to be talking about kind of how they train and mentor new traders at S&B Capital. Then next week, we're going to have our very own Andrew talking about how he uses moving averages in his trading. As far as psychology goes, Mike will be releasing his module 2. That'll be Tuesday night, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern in the webinar room. And then next week, next Tuesday at 8 p.m., Dr. Katz will be discussing how to maintain balance. Guys, if you're catching us on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, you'd like to give it a try, you can do so at a discount. Use the promo code PREMARKET24 to get a discount off the intro membership when you sign up for that. Or if you're looking to upgrade your membership or become a member, you can do so with the promo code Earth Day on the lifetime single payment membership. You get 40% off. Without further ado, Carlos, are we going to jump right into Dr. Katz right now?
Yeah, we have him on the line right now.
All right. Awesome.
Good morning, fellas.
Hey, good morning, Dr. Katz. So this is our in-house psychologist, Dr. Jonathan Katz. He's going to be discussing this new segment, Mindful Monday. We discussed last week, Dr. Katz, that anything specific coming up. I'm not seeing any big events other than this recovery. Maybe some concerns as people get back to normal. I know you live in Texas as I do as well, different parts of the state. The first town in Texas opened up restaurants over the weekend, Colleyville. People dining outside only, not inside, and socially distanced and such. People nervous about some of this stuff. What do you think? How should they treat this?
Well, I think people are going to have various reactions. Some people feel more comfortable than others. I always view these kinds of situations, much like trading, that caution is the best way to go, and to be conservative. I think if we all kind of skew towards being more cautious, we're in a better way, both individually for our own health and safety and well-being, as well as the world and community at large. So that's kind of what I would say, just more from a psychological approach. Listen to yourselves. You may want to step in the water, get your toes wet a little in certain ways, but I think caution is the way to go, given the just general uncertainty in our world at this time.
Absolutely. And, you've done, what was it, last week, a week before last, a discussion about anxiety and such around this. And maybe, sometimes I think that it's common. I sense it. It's hard to separate your trading business from everything else when you're trapped at home with your family, your kids. can't leave, and you hear of all these terrible stories. What about controlling some anxiety in trading? Maybe we can focus on that today.
Yeah, well, I think anxiety and work-life balance, are two major issues for most people today, both in and out of the trading world. Here's what I would say. I mean, uncertainty in the world for trading and just in the world brings a great deal of anxiety and discomfort. And I think people should just recognize that that's just kind of a normal component of what we're all dealing with. People are working, like you said, under conditions that are kind of a little more stressful, having to share workspace, kids coming in and out. I think what we need to do, and this is a good kind of thought and reminder coming into a new work week and a new trading week, is really kind of just more embrace the challenges. Don't make this about what you can't do, but really focus on the ways that you can handle some of the stresses that are new to this environment. So I think having a kind of more positive, flexible mindset is really important. This is not to deny the stressors that are present, but I really think it's just that you have to embrace the challenges and look at ways that you can manage the situation, both from a trading and a life situation, in the most positive kind of constructive way. And that might ease some of the anxiety and difficulties handling some of the interruptions or suboptimal conditions that you're trading. Now, I will say, from a trading perspective, you also have to manage your own level of anxiety. And if you feel that it's getting to a point that it's not constructive and healthy, you need to be very conservative in terms of how you trade. Don't be brutally honest with yourself in terms of your own distractions in your lives, and then kind of adjust your trading accordingly. Don't be guided by fear, but recognize that these are difficult times and that may necessitate some form of adjustment in the frequency or intensity of your trading.
I like that. Embrace the challenges. I always talk about trading as being a journey and not like a trip to a destination. It's ongoing. It never really ends. Any suggestions maybe to some kind of practices we can institute or focus on in the mornings right before we trade, or to maybe settle our minds?
Yeah, I think a good pre-trading day routine is kind of on a more macro level. Just remind yourself about some of the general principles I just said, in that uncertainty, a level of discomfort, kind of normalize that and destigmatize that for yourself. So I think that applies to everybody. Then I think on a more micro level, if people can tune into the ways that this discomfort and anxiety tends to manifest itself for people. Some people, let's just say they're trading off their back foot. They may be a little more passive and tentative. Other people might be over trading. They want to kind of create a level of excitement. So they're trading too much, and then that can get them in trouble. So know for yourself what the triggers are and how they demonstrate themselves. And your pre-market kind of mental routine process could be to kind of hone in on these aspects, both on a big picture and a more person specific, to keep you out of harm's way. And you may want to put a post-it on your screen or a couple of reminders so that if these situations rear their ugly heads, that you kind of nip them in the bud sooner than later, so they don't tend to have kind of a deleterious impact on your trading day.
I like it. Any additional closing thoughts you might have, or?
No, I think, listen, everybody wants to get off on the right foot on a Monday morning, trading wise. It always makes us feel good about ourselves. I always like to, that's great when people feel comfortable and confident and move ahead. I just would be mindful that these are difficult times, and don't get dissuaded or discouraged too much if things start out a little slowly or difficult. I think how we manage and how resilient we are when there are obstacles and impediments in our trading really is what separates out the best traders from the next tier. So again, when things are not going well, step back, slow yourself down, do a kind of an assessment, an accurate kind of hopefully honest assessment of what's working, what's not working. Try to make in real time some kind of adjustments if need be, and then kind of move forward. But don't get too down on yourself, overly self-critical. Try to think through a positive, constructive lens moving forward in your trading day and your trading week. And hopefully it'll be a good one for everybody.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Katz.
Okay. Thank you guys very much. Have a good day. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you for that, Dr. Katz. All right, guys, so let's get to it. Here, back to our list. Let's start over with at what we have here gapping up and down. We kind of covered some of this a little bit. Again, I'm seeing the gappers list getting a little bit bigger. We're not going to go through some of this, but if you see something that's great, we do have some extra time towards the end. We can definitely go back to it. Let's look at what we have, guys. So right now at the moment we are we have CLVS, we have Oxy, we have CHK. Let's look at INO. Again, INO is very active with some good volume, 3.7 at the moment, so they've definitely got some stuff going here. And AMRN, a lot of you guys mentioned this one in the chat, so looking forward to see what's going on here. Again, we got a nice big pop, leaving some of these levels on here, so we'll see what happens there. We have Facebook is good, pretty active right now. BA continues to trade well. BA again continuing to have some really good in pre-market activity here. ERJ continues to drop. BYND, good activity. Trying to see what we can get rid of, but we have quite a bit of that's looking great here. You know, Uber is a good possible, so I'm going to throw Uber down here. It's not looking all that great right now, but it could be a great possible to watch later on. So let's remove this one from this main list. Roku as well, it's a good possible because we have so many towards the top. We're going to keep Roku down here also, so we'll remove this one from this list. Make a little space in here, kind of fine-tune this a little bit better. So we'll get rid of Roku for now. So we have AMD, BYND, ERJ, BA, Facebook, AMRN is good. INO is dropping. CHK, I'm on the fence, and Oxy, I'm on the fence as well. All right, let's go through these guys. I think this is a good list for right now. We do have someone's in our possible list here that can break out pretty nice, so we'll take a look at that. Oh, and Zoom, we forgot about Zoom. Zoom is definitely on our list. All right, so let's remove.
Can't forget about Zoom.
Yeah, cannot forget about Zoom and what we're seeing to you know, we saw yesterday out of it. I'm sorry, I say yesterday, but I meant Friday. Just incredible. So right now, pre-market guys, kind of a little bit all over the place, but you kind of see some kind of flow in here. Some kind of range is being built between 177 and 153. 50. Our low of our pre-market is slightly below that, all the way down here around 152.50. So we'll mark that down. Slightly above that, we have a level here at 157. It's not our pre-market high, but you could tell this thing has been tested several times within the pre-market right now. So we're gonna keep an eye on that 157. Let's mark that down. Our high of our pre-market is all the way up at 161, which would be actually past the previous day close, all the way up here. Hold on a second. Yeah, so we got an action all the way up here at 161. And in between that, we do have the previous day close right on here at 158.80. So again, we're stuck within a lot of levels here, guys. We're from the highs and lows from the last two trading days, the pre-market highs and lows, even the previous day close, you know, is in here as well. So it's a lot of congestion happening here. If we can break out of this, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Zoom is going to do. Now, notice the level that we're holding at the bottom of the low of the pre-market. We have this great area of resistance that we had here for a couple of days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 days. Again, just couldn't break out of that. Finally, we had a huge pop, and we just gave it all right back on Friday, and we're back sitting at this level. This 152 that we have here is going to be interesting to see. Are we going to hold this, or are we going to, you know, slowly try to climb back out of this crazy drop we had in the intraday on Friday? So we'll keep an eye on Zoom. I think this looks very interesting. I think it's going to be very active on how it's going to react after having such a big drop last week. See, here's CLVS. Right now, pre-market, guys, I'm not seeing anything great. So I like the daily because we're leaving this area of support. We lost that. We went down all the way down to $8.30. So again, looking at it a little closer, we looked at it earlier a little fast, but now looking at it a little closer, it's not getting any better. And I think we might have some better ones sitting in actually in our secondary list here. So let's do some levels for it. Towards the top, you have your highs and lows from the last two trading days, previous day close. You have your highs here at 980 as well, creating a nice area of resistance. We have not been able to break out of that. So again, this one can go either way, guys, trying to get towards the previous day close line at the moment. But I'm going to downgrade this one to a possible, because right now at the moment, just looking at the way it is, it's already past 9 o'clock. It's still not giving us anything too exciting. Here's Oxy. Oxy, I'm going to watch. This could be one of those stocks, again, that trades very clean for the most part here. We're giving some back, and it has had a great daily. If you look at this daily, you can clearly see where some of the levels of support and resistance are listed here. Right now, the low of the pre-market being tested one more time at 113.15. Looks like we might be losing out there. Let's see if we can hold. Below that, we do have a great clean level here at 12.75, and then below that, another one at 12.20 and 11.51. So again, plenty of levels towards the bottom, very clean on this daily here. And then towards the top, you got plenty previous day close, highs and lows from the last two trading days, and you got some moving averages coming in as well. So here we go, guys. We're losing that 13.50 15 at the moment. Let's see if we can get down to that 1275. CHK. Okay, so CHK again, a great day on Friday. Two great days last week, Thursday and Friday. Popped up nice, gapped up, held, and went higher here. Could be a good continuation if we start losing some of these levels here. Again, looking pretty weak at the moment. Pre-market's not looking all that exciting. Could be one that we get rid of, but for the most part, let's see if we can lose some of these levels. We do have 34.42, the low of the pre-market. Above that, the high of the pre-market right at the previous day close, and we also have the highs and lows from the last two trading days, creating some good support and resistance for us here. The one level I'm going to add, you do have this one level here at 29.86. You clearly see some support in this area here, and resistance and more support as well in these 2 days. So you want to have that on there just in case we lose some of these levels. Again, it'll take a lot to get through all these levels on here. That's a lot to go through towards the bottom. But again, this thing has on the daily is very extended, so I will not be surprised if this thing wants to head down a little bit lower and give some back today. Here's INO holding between this level here, 1550. I'm going to mark this down. It's holding between 1550 and bouncing against this 1603, which is a level we have here. Our high of our pre-market is slightly above that. I think the 1603 is coming from the high from some pre-market level. I'm not sure where we got this level on here, but we do have this 1603 here. I'm going to just upgrade it. I'm going to update it to this here, 1611, which is our high of our pre-market right now. So let's put it up there. Again, we've been just bouncing back between these two levels at the moment with some really good volume, guys. Almost 4 million shares traded right now. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens there. Here's an AMRN at the moment. We have a nice big pop on it. It's up 8%. Right now, pre-market though is not looking all that great. We got some volume, 331, but it's not pretty active here when it comes to actual pre-market activity. Towards the bottom, guys, plenty of levels. You do not need to add anymore. The last two trading days got you covered. You also have the previous day close. You got two moving averages coming in as well, curving up a little bit here. Towards the top, if we can get back to this pre-market high and get above that, we do have a level at $10, 10.03. You can see here how that has been tested several times. Great area of support, and then we had this huge drop breaking through all these levels, and slowly we're starting to climb out of that, starting to get almost midpoint from this gap to this drop here. So we'll see what AMRN wants to do this morning. But again, hopefully can get a better pre-market. We do got the volume, but I'm not seeing a great pre-market activity out of it right now. Here is Facebook, guys. Is a good possible as well. It is up nicely. Actually, this pre-market activity looks pretty decent, better than a lot that we've seen. Definitely better than AMRN at the moment. Had a nice big day on Friday, so definitely worth keeping an eye on it for a possible continuation. Our low of our pre-market sitting at 193 even, and our high sitting at 194.79. So let's mark those two there. Very tight range, but above that we do have another level at 197, and then a nice one here all the way at 203. So again, we got some pretty good levels coming off a really good week for Facebook last week. We had the breakout out of this 180 level. We held that nicely, and now we're gapping up another 2% this morning on Facebook. So let's see what happens here again. And just looking at this pre-market activity closely, this looks very good as well. Here's BA, guys. BA continues to bounce a little bit higher here. Let's remove some of these levels since we have been kind of trading within this range. We do have the highs and lows from the last two trading days, creating some good levels for us here. Let's mark down the high of the pre-market sitting at 132. We were there earlier today. We are coming, as you can see here, earlier today, we're coming back towards it. We do have this area here as well, which is worth marking down. This 131. And the reason I'm marking this in the pre-market is because you see several times we kind of tested this area, and we're giving some back even when we come back to this 131 again. So let's see if we can hold here. Are we going to come back to the VWAP and retest that? What's going to happen? This 131 seems to be a level you want to have down as well. Towards the bottom, guys, previous day closed very close to the low of the pre-market, sitting at 129.20. If we lose that previous day close towards the bottom, we have to go back to the early April here, and we do have a level down at 122 is your next best level. We have not been down here in some time. As you can see, we've been staying above this 129 area. All right, so that's BA, guys. Good pre-market activity bouncing off this 131 level. Let's see what it's going to do as we head lower here. ERJ, again, pre-market. This is a good possible, guys. Pre-market right now is starting to act a little bit light on the volume and as far as the flow of things at the moment. You can see we're not getting a great flow out of ERJ right now, so let's drop it down. But as far as levels, our pre-market low is going to be here at 486. We'll mark that down. Pre-market high slightly below the previous day close, and the lows from Friday sitting at around 562. So we'll have that on there. Again, this thing taking a very nasty hit today with the news they got going on with BA. But again, not anything great when it comes to pre-market. This could be a good possible possible for later on. CLVS right now. Oops, did not mean to mark that down. I believe we moved this one down to a possible. We do have our pre-market low. Yeah, we moved this down to a possible. Again, not the best pre-market activity. Let's go through our possible, see what we're going to actually keep here. So why TEN is actually a low flow stock, guys. I'm going to remove this. It's a 1.9 million shares flow. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm not going to look at that. Mesos, I'm not going to look at it neither. Again, I'm just not a fan of how this this traded yesterday, Friday, excuse me. So I'm going to get rid of that one. AXSM, also one, guys, again, this is very, very active. We'll do some levels for this, and I'll keep it as a possible just to look at the action on it. But again, this is up 44%. The spread is a little bit wild, so you want to be careful. The spread is actually on this is almost 50 cents, guys. 50 cents on the spread at times. So you want to be very careful. Do not get fooled by this area here. Sometimes you're going to see zeros and zeros here. It could be one person with 5 shares. You want to look at this right on here. This level 1 is going to skip anything that has a 0. It's going to give you the actual spread on here. So again, you could do that. Also, there's some features, and mine doesn't have it with IB. I don't know why. But if you click on this VWAP, right? If you right click on here, you can change this. And there's one on here for some applications that have the difference between the bid and the ask. So if you don't want to calculate it, you can quickly change this here, keep it on that, and it'll tell you 50-cent spread, whatever the spread difference is. So that's pretty neat. All right, guys. So we have we are up 125.25. 125.25 is a pre-market high. Let's get down towards the bottom here. We're trading around 11, which if we go back on our daily, we do have an area right around here at 109. So we'll mark that down. Another level at 97. You can see here on the daily how we have some really pretty good levels on here. And then towards the bottom, this is a great area of support. Several days testing this over and over again around 85 bucks. You can see that here, 85, 84. We've been testing that level for quite some time, so you want to have that on there. And then towards the bottom of that, guys, you got your pre-market highs and lows sitting around between 70 and 75. It's got you covered towards the bottom. So again, it looks very nice, guys. We're up 45%, but overall, I'm just not sure how great this is going to trade. For that reason, I'm going to keep it down as a possible. Bank of America, I'm going to remove at the moment. I don't see anything great on it. Uber, I'm going to keep as a possible. And as far as levels for Uber, just going to zoom in here. Our pre-market high is sitting at 30, so we're going to mark down 30.20. Let's put that right on there. And then above that, we do have some areas right on here around 32. So again, we got some levels towards the top. Towards the bottom, guys, you don't need to add anything. We have a very good consolidation area around 28, and it's been marked down by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. And then we're above this previous day close line as well. So again, some really good support towards the bottom here on Uber. I don't think you need to add anything in regards to as far as levels. Now, here's Roku, another good possible. Again, not doing much at all. I'm going to even remove it from our possible right now. It could be a great one, but right now it's just so dead at the moment. I don't think it's worth keeping an eye on it for right now. All right, let's quickly.
Carlos, can you pull back up AXSM? Thor makes a good point on this, and you were talking about spread here, I believe, on this one.
Yep.
This spread is nasty. If you look at it right now, there's a whole bunch of tiny asks or tiny bids that don't even have a full lot, which is 100 shares. So you can't think you're going to get filled at those levels.
Yep.
And then it's got a lot of gaps down the whole level 2, and it not as many right now, but it's been pretty common that while I've been watching it, that's got either no shares or very few. And then massive gaps between, look, if you look at the bid, it's at 110.64 and then 110.20. So you could really get hammered in this with slippage that you just can't predict and count on. That looks really ugly.
Yeah. And can you only imagine the price action that's going to be as well, as you mentioned? I mean, it's just, again,
it's going to be nasty.
It's not going to be worth the risk here, guys. So I have it down here. I do want to see how it trades. It's going to be, I think it's going to be very wild, but I'm not going to have it on my main list for sure. All right, so we have this down here: Uber, ERJ, CLVS. We got some okay possible, guys. I'm not liking what I'm seeing on there. But let's start with the top of the list. Let's kind of recap, guys. So we have Zoom on here again. Great pre-market activity. I think this is going to be exciting to see how this is going to open after what happened Friday. Here's Oxy, continues to drop lower, hitting that 13.15 level and dipping below it, but kind of bouncing back a bit here. So we'll see what that does there. We got plenty of levels towards the top, and we got some good ones towards the bottom as well. CHK doesn't have a great pre-market, guys, but I do like a possible continuation towards the bottom here. We're extended. If we lose some of these levels, it can definitely run. Had a couple of really good days last week, so I want to keep an eye on it. Again, not the best pre-market, guys. This looks very choppy at the moment, but we do have a possible play here if it can lose some of these levels or bounce. This could be a good level to bounce off from. INO, guys, I'm going to remove again. It's one of those stocks that when you watch it, it trades horrible. And when you don't watch it, it does what it did Friday. Look how clean this was, right? We had a tough time on it Thursday, and then look how clean it trades Friday. I mean, it's one of those hit or miss. I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. Here's AMRN. Again, needs to get better on the pre-market right now. Hopefully, it can start trading a little bit better, but it does have a nice big pop after a great day yesterday. Here's Facebook. Yeah, I'm going to watch Facebook. That's good. BA is good. BYND is interesting as well, heading back down towards this 111 level. And then we have AMD as well as a possible. Let's do some levels for AMD towards the top, guys. We do have this area here at 58, and we do have this area at 58.62. So we pretty much cover in that area right now. Good pre-market activity. So we have quite a bit on here that's looking well. I'm going to continue to fine-tune this list. I don't know which I'm going to take off. I'm going to watch about 5 or 6 on here. But as we get closer to the open, I'll see what's looking better and make a decision then. So I think we got a pretty okay list, guys, for a Monday. SPY, see what the SPY is doing right now. SPY continues just
still up 1%. It's been relatively flat.
Yeah, pretty much flat, that 1% area. We'll see what comes out of that. But overall, guys, I think we have an okay list for a Friday. For a Monday. All right, let's see what everybody else is watching. So here's Peter. He's watching Facebook, Zoom, and BYND as his main list. And all those three actually are really, really good. If we can pick the best ones out of this list, BYND is great. Facebook is really good, dropping a bit here. Facebook, nice. And then we have Zoom. These three are definitely on top of the list, guys. I'm not going to remove those. You definitely want to have those on your list. Secondary, GM, AMRN, and AMD. That's what Peter's watching. And Norm, I'm not sure if you finalized your list, but what are you watching this morning?
I've got beyond Zoom, Facebook, as you already mentioned, like Thor has those at the top of my list. I've also got Twitter, which is interesting here, up 2.2% on 235,000 shares. AMD, Boeing, possibly CHK, even though I'm really not a fan of trading it. And I've got Tesla over there too. Kind of looks interesting as well this morning. So.
All right, excellent. All right, folks, so that is what we have. Our other moderators are still doing their list, so they'll post it here in the chat room. Guys, if you have not tried out our chat room, definitely give it a shot. We have pre-market 24. You can get a week trial for $24. Also, tonight, I'm doing a free introduction. You can sign up for that. So, Abby, if we can get the link over to YouTube and kind of come in, you can ask questions about our community, see what we're about. I go over, what to expect about trading and some of the things that we, the way we trade, and some of the things that you need to be aware as you start this journey if you're looking to get started into trading. So that'll be tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it's available to everyone. It's a free webinar we're having this evening. So, all right, guys, that is what we have.
Is that going to be, Carlos? Is that going to be in the classroom?
It will be in the classroom. Yes. It will be in the classroom.
Is it going to be on YouTube as well, or no?
No, it will not be on YouTube. There's a link where you can sign up and actually get it for free. So you don't have to even do the trial. So, all right, guys. So that is what we have, folks. Thank you so much for joining the pre-market show today. It was great having Dr. Katz, and he'll come back for more Mindful Mondays. We look forward to adding that segment to the show. So thank you guys one more time. Have a great starting day of the week. Trade safe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time.
Trade safe. See you guys tomorrow.